Good morning. So welcome back or welcome to Yoga with Ciara. It's Sunday, it's yum, and find a still point in your day. Nice. So come lie on your mat. Come. So lying on your mat, your knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. Just settle yourself in, find the floor. Unpack your shoulders, unpack your hips, wiggle your feet. Nice. And then just flatten your lower back down and then arch into the lower back. So as you flatten down, you're rolling along the back of your spine. And as you arch, you're tilting the pelvis forward. So forward and backwards with the pelvis. My bum is staying on the floor more or less. As I flatten towards the lower back, it does round forward, but I'm not lifting my bum off the floor. Nice. And then tilt your pelvis left to right. You're keeping your knees center. So it's more like massaging or pushing or kneading your lower back into the floor. That sense of the tilting, rocking, pushing down of one side and lifting of the other. And then roll like there's a clock on the back of your pelvis. So as you roll, sense into the traveling of the back of your pelvis, the different sensations. And then roll in the other direction. Nice. Drop your knees down to the right. Bring your arms wide. Just pause there. Breathing into your belly. Let your belly drop lower and lower and lower into your pelvis. So at the end of every breath and the beginning of every breath, there's a moment where your breath changes direction. So notice as you inhale, there's a moment where you're not inhaling anymore and you're just about to exhale. And then exhale. And there's a moment where you're no longer exhaling and you're just about to inhale. So begin to lengthen those moments, those still points, either side of the breath. It's like a pause, and then a sinking, and then a pause. I always feel like they're like the top one at the top of the inhalation is like the moment in a trampoline where you've just bounced down and you're floating in the air and you haven't begun to fall yet. Nice. Change your knees to the other side and just continue to find those still places, those pauses, either side of the action of your breath. Deep down into your belly with your breath. Keep that focus that it's deep belly breathing that's happening. Nice. And then just begin to sway your knees from side to side and see if you can track that moment of pause even in motion. Nice. Come back to center. Walk your feet so they're hip distance apart. Squeeze your right knee up towards you. Hug it in. Pause. Can you fall into your hip? Can you find a deeper and deeper place? For this one, for me, the exhalation still point really supports the action that we're doing. Notice what happens as you exhale, 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 and then pause. What happens in your hip at the end of the exhalation when you pause, when you deepen into the stillness? Straighten your right leg, hold on to it somewhere. So for me, with my legs straight, it's the inhalation still point that will really help this action. So inhale, 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 pause on the top of the inhale. And then exhale, exhale, exhale. Notice the difference now with your legs straightening. Which one supports you more? Wiggle your toes, soften your feet. Imagine that you can soften your feet and continue to focus on the breath as you were. So wiggling your toes lightly, holding on to your leg. Feel the pause at the top of the inhalation and the bottom of the exhalation. Nice. Bend your knee, bring your foot to the floor. Bend your left knee, squeeze it up towards you. Breathe. Nice. Straighten your leg. Breathing. So straight away, maybe wiggle your toes and just keep focusing on your breath as you inhale, as you exhale, finding moments of pause at the top and the bottom of your breath. Which one supports your leg more? The inhalation pause or the exhalation pause? The inhalation has this vigor and a filling of my leg, and I feel very in my leg, but more in control. Whereas as I exhale, as I drag and pull away from my leg, it intensifies the stretch in my leg. And so I can feel that I'm not as comfortable in the exhalation pause. Notice for you which one is happening. Nice. Bend your knee, bring your foot to the floor. Super. Both feet hip distance apart. Just begin to roll up and down along your spine. And as you do so, just feel like you're massaging your spine into the floor. Is your breath following the movement, or is it separate from the movement? Nice. So bring your feet as wide as your mat and then drop both knees down to the right. Nice. And then bring your knees up, lift your feet in the air, and then drop your feet down, drop your knees to the left. And lift your knees up, lift your feet up, and then dropping down. So it's like this kind of wave of movement that's happening. As my knees rise, my feet rise. And as my knees drop, my feet drop. And I'm falling down sideways as I go. And then I go a bit deeper. And then I lift up sideways, and then I fall down sideways. So we're meeting the inner groins and the outer hips as we do this. When we do things straight, it's the front and the back of our thighs. When we do things twisted, it's the inside and the outside of our thighs. Nice. So lift your feet up. And then as you drop your knees down towards the right, bring your arms over towards the right and then roll up. And as your legs drop, your torso comes up. So the dropping of your legs lifts your torso. And then coming down, as you drop down, your legs lift. And then over towards the left. And as your legs drop down, your torso comes up. And you're in zigzag when you land up. And then down. As you drop down, your legs lift up. And just begin to slowly, if you want to do some other version than this, if you don't like rolling, I know who you are, don't do this. If you do like rolling, or if you want to try this movement out, then give it a go. If you know, oh, no, I don't roll, then you're very welcome to find some awesome other version of something for yourself. All of you who are rolling, just let yourself roll. And notice, for me, coming up on the left is not as easy because it's not the side that I always go to. I always go to the right. So it's just really good to practice the things we don't always do. Nice. One more time each side. So one of the deep and powerful kind of principles of my work is how, when you're lying on the floor, do you come up to stand? That it's a thing that we lose as time goes by, as we get older. So squeeze your knees up towards your chest and just rock from side to side. And, you know, most of us are fine, but there's a certain point when we're 60, 70, 80, 90 that we'll be doing something and suddenly we're like, oh, I can't get up in the same way. So we're practicing a practice of longevity, of how do I create an ability in me to adapt to the fact that I'm on the floor and I can stand up and move from there. Stretch both legs up into the air, roll into your ankles. And then roll in the other direction. Nice. Coming into happy baby pose. So bend both knees, bring your hands to the inner sole of your feet or the arches of your feet. If that's not available, then bring your hands to your ankles. If that's not available, then bring your hands to the backs of your knees or your arms to the backs of your knees or your elbows. You know, that kind of wrap your arms around the backs of your knees. And just see which way suits you and your pelvis and your hips and your knees right now. And then drop your shoulders wherever you are and begin to deepen into the pauses either side of your breath. When you inhale and pause, what's the feeling in this? And when you exhale and pause, what's the feeling in this? Wow, it's very different, the two different sensations, because the breath is really deeply connected to this pose. So as you inhale, noticing the filling, the tone and texture that happens in your body. And as you exhale, it's like watching the tide go out and meeting the big stones on the beach for me. I'm like, oh, this is what was underneath the water. I just feel that in you. What is it that you feel as you inhale and pause? What is it that you feel as you exhale and pause? Nice. Release your legs. Shake your legs. Shake them some more. Awesome. Bend both knees, feet as wide as your mat, bring your arms wide. Always gliders. Gliders for me are like my bread and butter, my potatoes. Gliders are my potatoes. So draw your right knee up towards your left shoulder. And then draw your left knee up to your right shoulder. And I'm twisting and I'm keeping the opposite shoulder on the floor. Okay? Really deeply allowing my chest to open as I glide my knee across. Nice. All the way back to center. Walk your feet even wider, so they're as wide as your mat. Drop your knees down towards the right side. And then bend your left elbow and glide your left hand over towards the right side. And just pause there. Leave your head rest on the floor, and your left hand is trying to reach further and further forward. Pause. Can you soften into this? So I have to soften my shoulders. I'm really deepening and softening into my left hip. And you deepen the breath and find the moments of pause in this place. Nice. Slowly gliding back. Both arms wide. Pause there with both feet really wide, both arms wide. And let the left thigh drop a little bit more towards the floor. Deepening the breath, finding the moments of stillness within the breath. Can you get more of your rib cage and you widen your shoulders into the floor? So I'm going to unpack my shoulders, pull my elbows wide, and then like drape outwards with my chest and my arms. And imagine that I can get the back of the left ribs a little bit closer to the floor. It's not going to happen, but I have this sense of really leaning backwards into my body. Nice. Bring your knees up. Feet are really wide, so they're as wide as your mat or a little bit wider. And then drop both knees down towards the left. Bend your right elbow. Let it fly like a helicopter over towards the. Should I say right hand? Right hand is moving. If I didn't say right, it's the right hand that's moving over towards the left. And reach as far as you can. So I really glided past my left hand and then let everything sink and soften there. So now I'm meeting the deep of this left shoulder, my neck, my ribs, my hip. And like there's a part of me going, soften? What do you mean soften? I have no idea what you mean. And then I'm going to use my breath. So the exhalation is really helping this. Maybe reach your right hand a little bit further. Nice. Bend your right elbow. Bring your arm wide. So I'm going to push the back of my head down, lift my shoulders and wrap my shoulders outwards like. And then imagine that the back of my right ribs are going to come down towards the floor, and then deepen my breath because there's this amazing lengthening through the deep front of my right hip. Widen your shoulders, like feel like there's weight in your arms as you breathe. Nice. And bring your feet back up to center. Draw your knees towards each other. And then either rock or come into gliders or squeeze your knees up, or what would you do? I'm going to do gliders just because I love gliders. It's like such a deep meeting of my pelvis and my sacrum, of the tea towel feeling up through my torso, oh, my shoulders opening. It just feels like it gets so many parts in a really active and yet passive way. What are you doing? What's your yum right now this morning? What meets the deep of you as you lie here? Nice. Both feet to the floor. If you want to set yourself up with a blanket or a pillow or something, just come to rest. And as you settle in, just breathing and settling into a soft and steady breath. No pauses, no nothing, just feel. A way of breathing without focusing on the breath, because ultimately whenever you focus on the breath, it starts getting stressed. So a way of doing it is listen to the sounds that you're hearing. So right now there's the most incredible bird song. What's the quietest sound that you can hear? Awesome. Keep listening to the quietest sound that you can hear. The most incredible birds outside. So I'll see you all tomorrow. That was very yum. I've made the plan for tomorrow or for the month of March. So excited. I love March. March is my birthday month. So I always think March is my month. So yes, yes, it's going to be awesome. So lie there, listen to the quietest sound. If you want to pause me, because I'm going to turn on the music now. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your Sunday. And I'm going to head down to the beach. We have a Wim Hof weekend on here at the moment. So many of the people who are doing the Wim Hof, I think all of them actually, are all coming down to the Sunday morning swim with us this morning. So exciting. Um, so great. Have a wonderful day. And thanks for joining me. Really such a pleasure to be here. Lovely. Bye.